They said the wall would never rise. But Nehemiah heard from God, and he refused to leave it alone. It's 2026 and the gates are still broke. Enemies on the outside waiting for us to choke. Sambalat in your comments, Tobiah in your ear, whispering you ain't ready, whispering you should fear. But I picked up my trowel, I picked up my sword. One hand building the future, one hand holding the word. Half of them stood to watch while the other half lay stone. That's how you build in warfare, you never build alone. The rubble look like failure, but we read it as a flaw. Every broken piece of yesterday is raw material for more. Jerusalem was laughing, stock the gates will burn with fire. But God don't call the finish, He calls the ones who desire.
We ain't coming down. We ain't coming down.
Yeah. You can send your messengers.
We ain't coming down. Sword in one hand, trowel in the other. We building while we battling, we covering one another. The wall gon' rise, the wall gon' rise. Every stone we lay is sealed beneath covenant skies. Sword in one hand, trowel in the other.
We building
while we battling,
we
covering one another. The wall gon' rise, the wall gon' rise.
Nehemiah said the work is great,
we cannot come down tonight.
They sent 5 messages, trying to pull him to the plane. Distraction dressed as dialogue, it's still a Sambalat game. Your group chat ain't the wall, your scroll ain't on the wall. Some people call it networking, Nehemiah called it the fall. So I silenced all the noise, and I stationed all my men behind the lowest parts, the open places, watching them. By dawn the trumpet ready, every worker armed and trained. The sword became my worship in the building, became my praise. You mark the stones, Eliashib still prayed. You hired a prophet to trap me, the trap still failed. No weapon formed against this wall shall stand, because the God who called Nehemiah is still calling Mother May.
We ain't coming down.
We ain't coming down.
We ain't coming down.
The work is too important.
We ain't coming down.
Who ain't coming down?
Sword in one hand, trowel in the other.
We building
while we battling, we covering one another.
the war gon' rise.
The wall gon' rise.
Every stone we lay is sealed beneath covenant skies.
Sword in one hand, trowel in the other.
We building,
while we battling,
we
covering one another.
the war gon' rise.
The wall gon' rise.
Nehemiah said the work is great, we cannot come down tonight. 52 days, that's all it took. When the hand of God is in the blueprint in the book. 52 days, the enemy saw. When God is in the building, no one can break the wall. So tell me what's your war? In 2026, what assignment did God give you that the enemy wants to fix your business, your family, your calling, your art? The war won't build itself, you gotta guard it from the start. Most resolutions die somewhere between the 5th and the 6th. That's the Sambalat season when your momentum gets eclipsed. When the workers say the burden is too heavy and too wide. When you can't see the top and you've been building since the time. But Nehemiah rallied every family to that section. Remember the Lord, great and terrible, your source and your protection. Fight for your daughters, fight for your sons, fight for your house. Don't let the fear of a Sambalat come silence in your mouth. The middle of the wall is where the builders start to quit, but the middle of the wall is where your character gets lit.
Don't you dare come down.
The trumpet sound is near. What God began in January, He will finish before the end. We ain't coming down.
We ain't coming down.
The wall is almost finished.
We ain't coming down. Sword in one hand, trowel in the other.
We building
while we battling, we covering one another.
the war gon' rise.
The wall gon' rise.
Every stone we lay is sealed beneath
covenant skies. Sword in one hand,
Trowel said the work is great,
we cannot come down tonight.
The war was finished on the 25th day of Elul, in 52 days. And when all the enemies heard, and all the nations around them saw, they were afraid, and they perceived that this work was done by our God. Your war will be finished. Stay on it. Don't come down!
Flee, flee.